Robert, you look cold. Let's talk about these conditions.
Oh, Allison, I can tell you what, this has given me flashbacks of my days back in North Dakota, where this was a pretty common occurrence, but it is absolutely brutal outside. We've got our anemometer here. We're holding this up, gauging the winds. We've had some pretty strong gusts earlier today. Now, right now, not too bad. Winds between 10 and 15 miles an hour as we get sort of a stronger gust here, but notice the amount of blowing snow that we're dealing with here. We're in Rogers, not far from the Mercy Hospital here. Now, what's important, one of the things I want to show everyone is when you get temperatures that are this cold, the snow really becomes like sand. And we'll come down to one of these higher drifts here. And you can really see what I'm talking about. It's this real fine, powdery snow. It really has no problems blowing around, and it's going to continue to blow around as we go through the day. Johnson County still dealing with some leftover showers and storms, still seeing a clap of lightning or two from our Fort Smith camera. But look at this time-lapse video from our Fort Smith tower. Look at the waves of rain being poured out of the sky from what you see there from those on and off showers. That is amazing video from our Fort Smith camera from earlier this evening. And Fort Smith didn't even see the worst of it. You can see right in Bentonville, radar estimates of 2 to 4 inches of rain. In the River Valley, it was less. And when you get outside, if you are traveling tonight, I want to show you what you're going to encounter here. This is that sleet, and that sleet really has the consistency of sand, and it really does grab the wheels of your car and pull it around. It's really, really thick. It's not like snow, and it really does feel like sand. So if you're worried about stopping, Allison and Phil, all you got to do is really let off the gas, because the thickness of the sleet will really slow your car down. Just about to cross over Interstate 49. A very strong line of thunderstorms, not severe, but very, very strong across the region. And we do have a flash flood warning that is in effect for Benton and parts of Washington County. We already have widespread reports of street flooding across eastern portions of Oklahoma. In fact, right near those storms in Benton County, I want to take you, this is Jim Dixon, who's out driving through and towards some of those storms. Where he's at right now, things are dry, but the heavy rain will be coming down relatively quickly for Jim. And it is very warm. Lower to mid-90s Northwest Arkansas, upper 90s in the River Valley, 98 in Boonville, a degree cooler in Fort Smith, 94 in Greenwood, 95 in Waldron. Look at these dew points. 82 is the dew point in Springdale. That is absolutely insane. Vian has a dew point of 80, which is why when I show you the heat index, what it feels like, that's why it feels like 117 in Springdale, and it feels like 122 in Vian, Van Buren, Alma, and Ozark. It is just absolutely too dangerous to be outside right now. Extreme heat danger across the entire area at this hour. Please limit your time outdoors. The risk for heat stroke and heat exhaustion at these temperatures and these dew points is just too great right now, folks. What you want to watch is this tree right here. As there's the storm. Look how much that tree bends. So that definitely looks like that was the start of that tornado. I don't know if it'll loop one more time, but that's the telltale sign that you can see as the vortex comes through, rips that tree. That's definitely, and that tornado did grow in size to about 300 yards wide. We can come back to our weather graphics now. Still very healthy looking tropical cyclone here on the infrared picture. Look how far the eye is inland and still has a very defined structure to it. Still almost perfectly circular as it moves through Homa and makes its way just to the east of Thubo there, almost moving due north, that eye wall here. We do still have some cameras on I-10 over Lake Pontchartrain that are operational, and this looks like a terrifying drive across Lake Pontchartrain on Interstate 10. I have seen a few cars trying to make it. They've got winds gusting right around 100 miles an hour there. Still expected to remain hurricane strength as it moves through Louisiana. By tomorrow morning, a tropical storm, and then it becomes a tropical depression and moves into the northeast before possibly becoming a tropical storm again once it makes it back over the Atlantic. And it's expected to drop a tremendous amount of rain across the south and over parts of the Northeast. Inland flooding from tropical systems kills the most people. More than storm surge, the winds, it is the inland flood threat, and it is very real. Oh, taste of summer today, no doubt.
And unfortunately, if you didn't get out today, you missed out, because by this time tomorrow we could start seeing scattered storms and then severe after that, right?
Yeah, tomorrow night could be a rough ride, unfortunately. Possibly our worst severe weather outbreak of the season so far in our area. For comparison. So we are making tomorrow a severe day and parts of Wednesday. So parts of tomorrow and parts of Wednesday will be severe days. We're watching for the rain and the thunderstorms to develop, especially later in the day. And some of those storms could be what we call discrete thunderstorms, those storms that are kind of all by themselves. Those are the ones you really have to worry about. All modes of severe weather are on the table. Strong destructive tornadoes, large hail, damaging winds. The only thing we're not particularly concerned about here is the flash flooding threat because of the fast movement of the storms. The timing, like I said, later in the day tomorrow through around sunrise on Wednesday, give or take an hour or two on either side of that. Now, right now it's nice and quiet, great conditions. Fire up the grill tonight, put some steaks on it, enjoy tonight because it's a great evening across northwest Arkansas as well as the River Valley. Temperatures right now, we're in the mid 80s. We actually, I was checking, tied the record at Drake Field today of 84. So we've dipped down by a degree now. Fort Smith, the record was 92. We didn't get that close to it, but still very warm. Upper 80s in some locations across the River Valley. It is a, look at Paris, 87. My goodness gracious. It all changes tomorrow as we're talking about the severe weather. So a lot of colors here. So across far northwest Arkansas, we're dealing with a slight risk, enhanced, and a moderate risk. In layman's terms, we're talking about scattered to numerous to widespread severe thunderstorms across our entire area. And we're not the only ones dealing with this. Another moderate risk up across portions of Iowa, northeast Missouri, and then western Illinois. Would not be surprised by tomorrow the Storm Prediction Center upgrades portions of these to the high risk, which is what you never want to see. It's rarely issued, but the ingredients are there tomorrow, yet again, unfortunately. Now the threats. Hail threat. Anywhere you see the hatched area, we're talking about, or we're worried about 2-inch or greater hail. And that does include northwest Arkansas as parts of the River Valley. The tornado threat is the one that really concerns me. Large area with high percentages for tornadoes and a large hatched area. So we're talking about significant tornadoes. EF2 or greater tornadoes anywhere in this hatched area. And that does include the hatched area from Rogers and points southeast. Please have that plan of action ready to go. It may need to be in the middle of the night. You may need to take that, put that plan of action in place. High wind threat is also there, but not as significant. We don't have a hatched area with a high wind threat, which is a silver lining there. Lows tonight into the 60s, a very mild night, as I said, a taste of summer tomorrow as well. These warm temperatures, yet again, will really set the stage and ripen up the atmosphere for those storms to potentially develop tomorrow night. Having said all of that, some of you that are seeing this right now may not see anything tomorrow and Wednesday morning. They will be scattered. There's a chance that they develop into a thin line. We'll see how everything plays out. But think of a strong severe weather outbreak as like making a cake. You need all the ingredients for it to come to verify. And if you're just missing one or two of those ingredients, you may not get everything that you thought. We'll hope that that happens, but always, always, always plan for the worst.